Guys, welcome to Scientroversy, the #1 channel on these YouTube street, giving you vital information pertaining to your health, nutrition, science, and fitness. I'm your host Frank, and today, before we start, hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you like this video before you exit. So let's get into today's dealings. What are we talking about? We are talking about the #1 issue that has been on my mind all week that I want to bring to you guys: nitric oxide. Yes, you're probably wondering, what the heck is nitric oxide? If you've been in the fitness world, if you've been a regular in the gym, and at any point in time, you were really concerned with how you looked, when you looked in the mirror, you know what nitric oxide is. You will find it in your pre-workout compounds. You will also find it in stuff like meat, eggs, fish, and of course, beetroots. So, you're probably thinking this is some healthy stuff, right? Yeah, to a certain degree. It's also a vasodilator, which means that this gas could go into your system and it will dilate your blood vessels so you can have better blood circulation. So most people use it for stuff like erectile dysfunction, and even people swear by it when they use it for regenerating organs and joint pains, etc. And you will find a whole list of benefits when it comes to nitric oxide. But what we also tend to forget is that nitric oxide is a free radical and it has no electron bonding, meaning that it is just as dangerous as, let's say, a heavy metal toxicity. Yes, something that is so great and is being marketed as healthy and people like you and I are using in gyms is actually a free radical. Now, when we talk about free radicals, we need to put nitric oxide in context of hormesis, where you put a certain level of stress on your body to mobilize your endogenous antioxidants to rise to the occasion to sort of like protect you. So in that case, it is not so bad. But imagine you've been using nitric oxide for the past 5 years, for the past 10 years, or for the past 3 years. It becomes a systemic form of inflammation that is probably already causing problems in your body or is soon to cause problems in your body. So let's get to the nitty-gritty of it and why it's so bad for you. Well, nitric oxide pretty much is a non-preferred gas that your body would prefer to use. Originally and naturally, the human organism will prefer to use carbon dioxide in relationship with oxygen as opposed to nitric oxide. But where are you getting this carbon dioxide from, and how can you increase carbon dioxide? The way you can increase nitric oxide by eating meat, fish, eggs, and stuff like beetroots. That's the same way you can increase carbon dioxide by eating carbohydrate sources of fruit, from sucrose, fructose, glucose, lactose, and things in that realm. So you can see where carbon dioxide places favoritism on the carbohydrate spectrum of the macronutrients, and you can see how nitric oxide places favoritism on the amino acids spectrum of the macronutrients. Well, when you consume nitric oxide through its precursors, such as citrulline malate, arginine, L-ornithine, agmatine sulfate, and arginine alpha ketoglutarate, it creates a nitric oxide levels that one could use for performance, and one could also use for stuff like erectile dysfunction and all those therapeutic benefits that comes with it. But what are the mechanisms going on endogenously that could cause side effects? Well, if nitric oxide levels goes up, oxygen levels go down, and carbon dioxide seems to be held back in the tissue, and that does not get released due to the presence of nitric oxide, which is a free radical, and carbon dioxide is more so of a it's a pro-oxidant per se. So nitric oxide is an antioxidant, and carbon dioxide is a pro-oxidant. Pro-oxidation, antioxidation. So with the presence of the nitric oxide levels, you are going to have an antioxidation environment, which in the context of hormesis is a beautiful thing. But in the systemic inflammation sense, it is a dangerous thing. And it can lead to stuff like cell death in organ tissues like the pancreas and the liver. It could also give rise to stuff like serotonin, which could create endotoxins in the gut, where you have endotoxin molecules traveling to the liver and also causing lipid peroxidation. With such a toxic environment, one could also look to the fact that estrogen levels are going to go up, adrenaline levels are going to go up, cortisol levels are going to go up, and lipid peroxidation, where free fatty acids are liberated, could also cause an extremely inflammatory environment in your body. It could lead to tough conditions like type 2 diabetes. It could also lead to conditions like insulin resistance due to the depth of proteolytic enzymes like lipase, protease, amylase in the pancreas. And all of these could lead down to even cancer when it comes to nitric oxide. Now, how did the idea of nitric oxide come about? Well, since we are on an anti-carb campaign and most people are on a ketogenic diet, on the paleo diet, and on the carnivore diet, we don't tend to eat enough carbohydrates. And even if we do eat carbohydrates, they are mostly plant-based, which contains a lot of anti-nutrients, so we are barely absorbing the carbs that we need to absorb. This creates a host of malnutrition and glycolysis in the body that eventually leads us not being able to absorb our carbs efficiently and put it to work. So you have a lot of people who work out, you have a lot of people who are doing treadmill workouts and all these stressful workouts, and they hardly seem to put on muscle, and they are also damaging their organs such as the pancreas, the kidney, and the liver while they at it. So something in the grand scheme of things that seems to be a good thing could be a precursor to a lot of things down the road, which can be extremely toxic to your health and your well-being. So the next time when you decide to go purchase any pre-workout supplement, such as something like I do have here, which I have been using because I am a victim of this too, and this is a product called citrulline malate. Nothing against the company. I just used to use it. You can see it right here. Pay attention to stuff like citrulline malate, agmatin sulfate, arginine alpha ketoglutarate, L-ornithine, and L-arginine, and realize that though they can be beneficial as far as aesthetics if you're trying to get that muscle pump, which honestly you could do it through sodium, you could do it through carbohydrates, you could do it through sodium bicarbonate and other methods. Always remember, these in the long run could cause toxic effects in your body. And always remember, nitric oxide, which you must not confuse for nitrogen oxide, is a free radical. Hence, in its pure form, it's a dangerous type of gas that one shouldn't depend on. So, with that said, I'll see you on the next video. And don't forget, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. This is Science Reversey. I'm Frank, out.